All right. Good evening, everyone. Following OK in Focus at this time. Want to extend greetings to you in a very special way. Today, Friday, we are so grateful that finally we are coming live this time to discuss important things about our culture and tradition. And first of all, we wish to apologize for the late start of the program. We had some technical hitches, but thank God that we are actually connected, and we hope to give you just the best. Traffic in Yaoundé is not all that easy, coupled with other things that we have to put in place. And so thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you so much, Takenet. Thank you so much, Maze. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Kengong. You're highly welcome to Yaoundé, specifically at Kovolo, if I'm actually pronouncing well. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, I am pleading on you to share this program because it is going to be quite interesting. You all know that for the past, there has been a lot of dust being raised when it concerns titles in Uku and in some parts of the Northwest region. And so this evening, we are privileged to have our father, Dr. Taima Peter. You all know who he is. I don't want to go mentioning the things he have done, but let me go straight to telling you that he is the author of the Uku Trail, a book that talks about the traditional, cultural, political, social, and everything that concerns Uku. Thank you so much for joining, and immediately I'm going to be welcoming our father. And before that, do you like to know my own title? This is Uchiyo Uku in Focus talking. Thank you so much, and bago gitu sudah ikut
Belle Natanya ka bege osoye fiala kampia kumuku.
Wakole lamin ka ofisen Uku in Focus wanda.
Selo lubiwa yes Uku in Focus lo se kono. Wune sang le medile ndu. Boyasin kono yasun kan development. Asin kono yasun no lubno wa me ni la ko ko. Ne gele jiake. Kama wuna sang le man ko so ko subno le langwa pise amna lang nasi du.
No bel na rajung ka wa chunda ngolu yi so ko Focus lu jimbika. Kenelo ka kini no me chitonde ka me yone suige kenelo lambes besa mengo lambes besa. Kama tonde wa suige ba oso se konen fiela. Obime ke mbime ne ba suige no ya bel na rajung. Kwa de na rai no ki beef liquid liming kum title or beef fiswe. Bika kana gata te kinu namna jo wele basike kum title se loli e jivso jiven na job go ki beef liming wa ke ba wasin ven na lo fise. We would like to know first of all from you, Doctor. Can you tell us the origin of titles when it comes to the grass field culture, and maybe Uku in particular? How did titles originate?
Uku is not very peculiar when it comes to titles. Titles is a human phenomenon. Then you realize that in the past, when somebody distinguished himself, maybe by as a prominent hunter or somebody who actually initiated development projects in Uku, he was given a title. And most often you realize that since society is hierarchical, you realize that the fund being the highest institution when it comes to governance, there are people who actually are assisting the fund. We're talking about village chiefs, we're talking about prominent notables that sit with him to govern. All of them, they have titles. They have titles that actually distinguish them from the ordinary people. Progressively, you realize that nowadays we have Uku sons and daughters all over the world, and they've achieved a lot. So titles actually come in here as a kind of recognition for services offered to society. And that is why I was saying that Uku is not actually very peculiar about titles. It's a human phenomenon.
All right. Yeah. So we are saying titles may come as reward.
Yes.
And we know some titles in Uku that may come as a result from families. Like maybe the Chindas. I think is Chinda a title?
We will come to it.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you give a kind of sweeping answer to a sensitive question like that one, it might not be good for us.
All right.
To answer this question, I will first of all give 2 or 4 broad categories of titles.
Yes.
And then you will see where each and every one falls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first category of titles is titles that are actually initiated or conferred to individuals by the phone, following the traditional enthronement elements we call an ukube and umsus. These are very prominent titles in Uku. And actually, in this particular category, it's like people who are consecrated, people who are set aside, apart, and you cannot grade them by shake of hands. That's why I said they are consecrated and actually set apart. Mm-hmm. That's a category of titles. We'll come back to it. We have the second category of titles, honorary titles, that are given to individuals by the phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may be here in Yaoundé, Douala, Bafoussam, all over in the United States, wherever Uku people are found. The phone can decide to give you a title. They are honorary titles. Mm-hmm. And these titles do not actually, they don't incorporate that element, the be or msus, that actually sets one apart. Mm-hmm. We'll come to it.
All right.
Yes, then you also have a category of titles that come from Quifon. Mm-hmm. Yes. Then you have other titles that actually titles belonging to our traditional military organization. They have their own titles. Though you also have titles that come from the royal family, in Gili society. Mm-hmm. So when we come to actually detailing or describing each of these categories, we will actually, from there, we will know the type of titles that are in Uku and who gets them and their functions.
All right. We'll begin from where you started, talking about the ones that are actually being given by the phone. Mm-hmm. And that one, we cannot call it honorary titles.
Yes.
And it's like it goes compound by compound. How does it happen? Is it given to special people or how does it go?
No, these titles are hereditary. The first one that we'll talk about is the non-talk. The second one is bantalk. Then you have phi or phaise, plural. Mm-hmm. And you have umfumse. In some compounds they call baba. Mm-hmm. So these are titles that are actually given by the phone, but the individual is selected by the family members since it is hereditary. Mm-hmm. And you realize that the initiation process is very different, because he is initiated by what they call an ukube, atamabe. That is, he's enthroned by using this element be. And the second element is msus, which makes the person to be at least untouchable. He is quite separated from the rest of the common people. You cannot grade that type of a person by shaking his or her hand. You realize that this is it. As I was telling you, these titles are hereditary, and once it is initiated, it becomes a kind of a family property or attribute. You see, that's the first category as I was talking about. And that is the base of the titles in Uku.
And those are the main titles. Now, we'd like to know something. You mentioned phis, and we hear of true phi, and we hear of phi. What is the difference between Upcho Phi and Phi?
Nuptial Phi is a little higher in rank than Phi. Yes, a Phi, really, this is a title that actually originated from So, to be very specific. Yeah, because Uku had Infamse and Baba and the rest. So this title Phi actually originated from So, and the first Upcho Phi that we knew in Uku was Rensanene. And progressively, the fund decided to confer this to other Phis. In Uku today, we have so many of the Upcho Phis. And once you acquire Upcho Phi as any Phi, it becomes a family property, becomes a family attribute. Any other person who is enthroned as Phi in that particular compound becomes a Upcho Phi. So it is not just to an individual, it is a kind of a gift to a lineage in Uku.
By the fund?
By the fund. All these titles come from the palace.
All right.
Yeah, it's the fund that decides that you should be Upcho Phi or not.
All right. Thank you so much. It's the fund that decides there should be a Upcho Phi or not. And you have had a difference between Phi and Upcho Phi. And to all of you watching, ladies and gentlemen, you are free to send your question here in the comment section, and we are going to read it out to our guest this evening. Special greetings to all of you watching at this time, wherever you are. This is Uku in Focus. We are talking about traditional titles in Uku and their roles. Now, we will be shifting away from those titles that actually are given at home, and we cannot call them honorary titles. Let us move to the Quifon. We'll not talk much about the Quifon because we don't discuss about the Quifon. What are some of the Quifon titles that you know?
We first of all have Tanto. Tanto in Uku is a title actually that comes from the Quifon institution. And of recent, we have Baquifon. In Uku, that title did not used to exist. But you realize that since society evolves, we actually develop by borrowing elements from our neighboring tribes. Baquifon actually comes from So. It's a new title in Uku, and it has come to stay. These are the two titles that actually come from Quifon society.
All right.
And they are honored in Uku.
All right.
You realize that you cannot be a Tanto, you cannot be Baquifon if you are not in Chinda. Thereby answering the question you asked from the beginning. Because in Chinda is a palace guard. And within that ranks, we have those who have been also designated to serve the fund directly.
All right. So you are saying that you cannot be a Tanto without being a Chinda. You cannot be a Baquifon without being a Chinda.
Impossible.
So to begin, you have to be in Chinda.
Chinda before.
And in Chinda does it come with family lineage?
Yes, it comes. But most of the time, sometimes the fund may decide to take you as a Chinda. And in such circumstance, the initiation elements are given by the fund. Let's say from our lineage, Bankon's compound, the fund may decide that I should be in Chinda. Then the fund will talk to my family head, that's the lineage head, and I will be taken to as one. And in such circumstances, the fund can give the initiation element Shimse.
All right. Now, the fund can give the title Chinda, but it goes with family lineage.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, we used to pass around the palace. We know that there are certain Quifons that you cannot see. And we know the Quifon's bush, the Quifon's forest, which no one enters there. And we have heard that if you mistakenly cross into the Lang Lang, you know the place I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You all know if you have been passing around the Quifon's palace, you know the forest that is there, the Quifon's forest, nobody enters there. I heard that if you happen to cross the entrance, then you're going to be made in Chinda. Does that hold? Is that true?
Yes, but you will be in Chinda of a very low category. Ton two of a very low category. And people actually dread that. Nobody would like that to happen to him.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have had titles given by the phone and right to the quiphone. And now let us move to the yes.
Yes, I'm coming. Because if we stop at that level, we'll be making a mistake. We still have the military, traditional military titles. These titles also come from the palace. We have Mfome, we have Tamfu, we have Ndiba, we have Ndigam, we have Tanjong, we have Kele, we have Lamyam, we have Tangwa, etc., etc. There are just many of them. These are titles that actually are given to our traditional military men.
And we are talking here of the Mfu.
Yes, Mfu.
Manjong.
Yeah, let us just call it Manjong because Manjong is a military wing.
Yes.
And what they call Manjong, Mfu is already there, Samba is already there, Shoro is already there, Ibum Nge, etc., etc. When all of them will group, all of them will call them Manjong.
All right.
Yeah. But the Mfome here that I'm talking about is Mfome Mfu. Because Mfome Mfu is the highest in rank of all the Mfomes.
Yes, I was to ask you that when it comes to Manjong, which one is the highest title when it comes to Manjong?
Not Mfome. Mfome actually is the head of the military. In any military house, Mfome actually reigns. You understand?
Yes.
Mfome reigns, and the person who is commanding is the Tamfu.
All right.
This is that kind of, how can I call it? The structure in which the Uku military, traditional military organization is done. Mfome is the highest person, but the person who actually commands within the house is Tamfu.
All right.
Yeah, but Mfome reigns because Mfome directly represents the phone.
Now, we also have someone called Mfome General. Is it different from the Mfome you are describing?
No,
like for example, we know the
full house has Mfome.
Yes.
We have Mfome General, who is the Mfome of the palace Mfu. Normally, we were supposed to have two palace Mfus, that Mfu, Ba, and Ram. Uku opted for one. One an indivisible Damfu, headed by one Mfome. And that one Mfome, he is Mfome Ba and Ram. Because he's the former of the palace Mfu. Yes.
Now, from your knowledge, does the palace Mfu belong to Elak because it is an Elak community, or it is the Mfu for the Oku people? Because I've heard people arguing somewhere that the Mfu beside the palace is for the Elak people, and some say it is for the Oku people as a whole. So, where does that Mfu house belong?
No, it is variously referred to as Mfu Ntok, as Mfu Ilak. You understand?
Yes.
Even if it is referred to as Mfu Ilak, people will not say it belongs to Ilak people. Ilak is the capital of Uku. Can somebody dispute this at all?
No.
This is a fact.
Yes.
So Mfu Ntok and Mfu Ilak are just two names of the same thing.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, so they are just the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't know if there's another thing to add when it comes to the military titles, the military wing of the quiphone, as we put it.
No, I wanted just to go a little further because we've talked about titles that actually we inherit in Uku, and I have named them. We've all equally talked about titles, honorary titles. You understand? So we're talking here. We have Ya, we have She, we have Bantok, we have Ntumfon, etc., etc.
And should that be of Ngele?
Exactly. Most of them are of the Ngere society because actually these titles come from the palace.
Yes.
Yes.
So it is showing that quiphone's titles cannot be honorary.
No, quiphone titles are quiphone titles. They are not honorary titles.
So honorary title comes from the Ngele society.
Yeah, there is a kind of ambiguity here. Understanding that the phone is at the head of the palace. Ja is given to somebody by the phone. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Okay. She is given to somebody by the phone.
Exactly.
Yes. But in Uku, we only have She in Ngele. There is no Shea equivalent in Uku for the moment. It may come, but for the moment we don't have. So any Shea in Uku given by the fund is Shea Ngile.
All right.
Yes. So we also have Bantok. This Bantok is different from the other Bantok that is actually enthroned using Be and Msus. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yes.
Like recently we have Bantok Ukuye.
Bantok Ukuye, there are many of them. There is Bantok in Douala.
Yes.
There is Bantok in Yaoundé.
Yes.
This Bantok, as I'm saying, are honorary titles. The initiation process is different because Be and Msus are not incorporated in the initiation.
All right.
So they are different. Their status is different when you compare them to Bantok, who is the father of the fund in Uku.
All right.
Who has been enthroned through Be and Msus.
All right.
Yes.
So you are telling us that the titles that you have through Be and Msus, those are actually titles that we cannot play with.
We cannot play with Nathaniel. Let me just tell you something when we were still growing up. When you see any non-talk, she has been enthroned using Be and Msus. Just that alone makes her to be untouchable. And when we were still young, a non-talk could only marry a from or fire, but not an ordinary person, for fear that the person might be contaminated by the Msus. But gradually, since society is evolving, you see very young years now, very young non-talk. They may decide to take anybody as their husband.
All right.
Thereby, I don't know what happens now with the Msus, but I think society, our laws are a little bit lenient when this is concerned.
All right.
But we should know that any non-talk, nobody should play with her because her status is a little bit higher than that of a fire.
All right.
Yes.
So non-talk does not get married to any kind of a person.
That used to be.
Yes. But now it is changing.
But now, given that things have actually changed, and non-talk who has spent most of her time in Yaoundé, Douala, Bafoussam, and the rest, you cannot just bundle her and give to anybody in Uku. It will not work.
Yes.
You understand? Society is evolving.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we move on, please, if you have your worry, please you can send it to the comments section, and we are going to ask right here. Now let's get back to the Downer Palace, what we call it Ngele. And we mentioned we have differentiated between Pure Fire and Fire, given by the fund of Uku. Now, let's get to Pure Shea and Shea. What is the difference between Pure Shea and Shea? Then Pure Ya and Ya?
Well, if these titles are given by the fund, they have their meaning. If there is Shea and Upchua Shea is a little higher than Shea in status. If there is Ya and Upchua Ya is a little higher than Ya in status. Because the titles come from the fund and we don't argue them. We don't dispute them. We take them as they come.
All right.
And we respect the people. The fund has chosen to be either Ya, Upchua Ya, or Shea, or Pure Shea.
All right.
Yes.
So it's just like in the military, you have people with ranks.
With ranks.
And you must give them respect.
Exactly.
If you go to the police, you have constable, you have inspector, you have commissioner, and all those ranks.
Yeah.
Same way too when it comes to our traditional titles.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. We are grateful. Now, we have listed a number of titles there. Can we differentiate between those that we can greet with the hands and those that we cannot greet with the hands? Because we have noticed that nowadays, anybody who has a title, it's like you cannot greet them with the hand again. And maybe the way they want the community to respect them, maybe it's no longer like it used to be in the past. It like goes a lot of pride, and of course, I don't know how we can term it, but one that should differentiate who should we greet with the hand and who should not greet with the hand when it comes to title.
I'll take it from the base. The idea of not greeting somebody with the hand or a fire non-talk was because of these two elements. Be and Animsus. Okay. So from there now we have Nkumse, Faise, Abantop, and Non-Top. This in Uku we know. Okay. Now, the fund has decided to give to Crown other Fais and Nkumse, you understand, out of Uku. Simply because they are crowned by the fund, you will never extend your hand to greet them. If the phone says this person is Phi, this person is Ya. No, it's from. You will not greet the person with your hand. We know of that. Okay. Secondly, we have Bantops out of Uku. We have Yas out of Uku. These are the honorary titles that the fund has given them.
Yes.
According to me, it's a matter of self-esteem. You understand? It's a matter of self-esteem that I will not extend my hand to anybody. But traditionally, there is no interdiction.
All right.
There is no interdiction.
When it comes to honorary titles.
When it comes to honorary titles,
yes.
And I have actually named them.
Yes.
We have She. We have Ya.
Bantop.
We have certain Bantops and Tumfons and all the like.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So as I'm saying from the base is actually that people are set apart. People are consecrated by these two traditional elements, Be and Imsus.
All right.
And that is what we dread. We will never shake our hands, shake their hands, because we don't want to be contaminated by these two elements.
Yes.
Now, the fund can intrude somebody fire from, you understand, out of Uku without these two elements, but we cannot greet the people with our hands. You understand?
Understand.
By so doing, we are challenging the authority of the fund. But if somebody thinks that as he is she, he doesn't take hands, it's his or her responsibility. If somebody says, I am Ya, and nobody will greet me by a handshake, that is her responsibility.
All right.
Traditionally, I have given the base.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've given the base. And someone is trying to ask a question here by Aya. People say there are 3 great actual Phais. Let me add Uku to it. Are they honorary actual Phais? Before we come to this question, we know Uku has 3 clans. Maybe you begin from there to give us a little background on the various 3 clans of Uku. And then you tell us if truly we have 3 great actual Phais in Uku, and if the rest are honorary, as they're asking here.
We should be very careful with what we are saying here. Truly, in Uku, we have 3 clans. We have Dambulum, we have Abzun and Bele. And we already know that by rank, Ochofa and Sanin is the highest. Okay. Somebody will ask me, is Ochofa and Sanin, Mbele, or Antul? Mbele and Antul are the same thing.
All right.
Okay. I'll still explain further. When I talk about Mbele and Antul be the same thing, I'm talking about the ruling family. Because we have Antul and Mbele, that is Sanin and Gay Balabe. Is this clear? Gay Balabe is already a true fire. Then when you come now to Ambulum, you have Faikanyang of Mancho. Jakayang of Mancho. He is the head of that the Mbulum clan. Okay. When you come now to Dzong, you have Fai Ndito. Getatanka.
Yes.
Okay. That is actually the head of the Dzong. But you will realize that the administration of Uku is a little bit complicated because if I'm not making a mistake, Ensan is the first in command, right? The second command, then you have Ray Balabe, then you have 18A. You understand?
Yes.
18A is a Bzum. But the head of the Bzum clan, when it comes to their religious practices, is Gatatanka Njito. But when it comes to rank, in terms of governance, it is Ray Tingaye. Are you see how complicated the whole thing is?
Understand, yes.
So to stand and say Uku has 3 trophies and all the like is a kind of thing that may create confusion somewhere.
All right.
But I know that there is a Sanane, there is a Balabe, there is a Tingaye. You understand? And the other trophies come. I know that my lineage head today is a trophy banko. And there are many in the Shangong is a trophy and the rest. You understand?
Yes.
But given that the head of our clan is already the fond of Oku, the Shangong either Bankong or the fond on the Cham or Nkol or Baijong cannot emerge. Okay. Understanding that Ray Balabe traditionally today is of the same clan with Gansanene, Ray Balabe must be second because originally Ray Balabe is from Kajem. That got integrated into two, that got integrated into Gansanene. These are things that we should teach our children.
Exactly.
And let them know so that there should not be clashes here and there for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You just mentioned Kejem there, and many people have been confused between Kejem, Tul, and Oku. How is Kejem linked to Oku?
Kajem or Jigem?
Kejem.
No, Kajem actually, as the story is narrated, when there was a volcanic eruption, let me be a little scientific. Volcanic eruption where we have our present lake, there was the kind of mass exodus, migration, seeking for safety. A sizable part of the population migrated towards Kom, passing through what we call today Njini Kejem,
Yes.
to the present Kejem that we have, Kejem Kuku and small Babanki. There is a part of that population that did not follow that that track to come, that instead migrated into Uku. This is where Balabe comes from. So they instead migrated into Uku. Part went down to Noni to Jotin. Part went towards Nkambe. But the faction that actually came to Uku was large and actually got integrated into Gansanuna family. And they were living together quite close to the palace, doing enthronement and most of the rituals together. So when Gansanuna migrated and went to Nsok, Ukwansok or something like that, got settled there for reasons it is too lengthy and may not explain here.
Yes.
Ray Balebe now actually took over everything and was in charge of enthronement Bay, as we talk about. Since they were almost one family, Ray Balebe became second to the throne of Uku, since Gansanuna was not there. Especially Ndan, who went to prison in the place of Gansanuna. Yeah, when it was erroneously reported to the colonial administration that Uku Traditional Authority, actually they were killing people, Uku from the Krowe.
Yes.
So the fun of Uku was to go to prison, and the scapegoat was sought in the person of Ndan. Ndan is the head of Ray Balabe. He went to prison in the place of the fun of Uku. So when he came back, Sanina was no more there, and he had to continue as the second to the throne of Uku. This is the kind of relationship that the two families have. So today, technically, as we may say, since filiation does not necessarily follow blood, Ray Balabi and Sanina are of the same lineage.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. Now, somebody is still asking here, where is the position of Bantu in the classification of ranks from the phone downward? I don't know. We have already mentioned that, but now let's take the first 5 in Oku.
Pardon again?
He says, where is the position of Bantu in the classification of ranks from the phone downward?
Still a little complicated because you realize that when Dembele, after Dembele took over, there was a lot of agitation. And since Ntol and Bele were already the same thing, I said it from the beginning, they were already the same clan. So one clan, that clan could not put forward 2 funds. The fund that was running, though it was claimed that the fund was of Yefon's family, right? He was already the fund of Uku. And being the fund of Uku, the person who was under the clan that actually was there from the beginning got integrated into it, and Bele. And during that struggle, Rensanen is of Ntul, and it is Rensanen that actually came up to build the administration, the Uku traditional administration. And Bantu was a kind of running at the background without any, how can I say it, grapes on the administration in terms of governance. To be frank, when it comes to land, so people talk about gazetted and all the like, Bantu actually has no specific land in Uku that he has grapes on, that he can become a fund or a chief, except certain things are being redone in our days. Because in Loi, where he is based, the village chief isn't different. Are you understanding how complicated it is?
We are getting.
Okay, coming back now to Manchok, the village chief is of Ntol. Are you understanding?
Yes, yes.
And he's a third-class chief, and Bantul is not.
Bantu is not a third class.
He is not. Going back to Mbam, who is the village chief of Mbam? The third-class chief. It is Yansanana, right? He is of Ntol. Are you understanding?
I understand, yes.
So it's a little complicated. It's a little complicated. I think then this narrative will permit people to understand that it is not as easy as we think.
Exactly.
Let me come back again. Look at Reitingeye being almost third in command to the founder of Uku. Has he got a village? Is he a third-class chief? No, he is not. Are you understanding?
Yes, we are getting.
No, he is not. Because the person who is the third class, who is the chief of a Ilak, is Ray Balabi. Are you understanding?
Yes, yes.
So the whole thing, we should understand how our administration is actually built up to avoid certain complications for nothing.
All right. Yes, now, thank you. We understand that there are some titles that actually they should be respected. In fact, we need to respect title holders because they're recognitions given by the fund and our traditional institutions. Now, we talked of Bantok in the palace and Nontok. Can any of these titles be seized? Or once you made a Nontok or in Shinda or a Bantok in the palace, it's forever?
No, it is forever because this a non-talk title actually belongs to a family. Are you understanding? Yeah, because that title is hereditary.
All right. We are talking in case if maybe the title holder misbehaves.
That is the whole discretion of the fund.
All right.
It's the discretion of the fund and nobody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We understand that one very well. And now, what is the role of a non-talk and a ban-talk in the palace?
Let's come to non-talk first of all.
Yes.
Non-talk role function in the palace is actually felt during traditional ceremonies, where some of the inner activities are actually carried out by her. Non-talk actually some of the time advises the fund, not in public. Any fund cannot ignore the advice that is coming from the mother. They tell the fund that in terms of religion, in terms of this is what is supposed to be done, but in private. Non-talk, as we know in Uku, you know she's a little higher in status than 5. People do not know.
Okay, means non-talk is actually a higher institute than 5.
Yes.
Than a big man, what they call big man.
Yes. And then Bantok. People think Bantok is just anything. Bantok equally is higher than some of these 5s. Because Bantok actually is the father of the fund. Each fund has a Bantok. Each fund has a non-talk. You understand? But progressively, some of the Bantoks may graduate to become lineage heads and things like that when it has overstayed and extended to a certain extent. But some of the Bantoks that are quite close to the fund, quite close to the palace, they equally play the roles of advisors and things like that to the palace.
Yes, and I also discovered that at times when a non-talk goes away, you see the Kwifon will be involved in the Kradai, and it is not common. I think it's only a non-talk in Uku that the Kwifon is always involved in the Kradai, where you have Kwifon Jesus coming out like Mabu and the rest. Am I right?
Yes, Kwifon involves in the Kradais of most of the notables, but that of a non-talk is quite different. Because when she dies immediately, you realize that the mourning, that is the ceremony is a little different. It is obligatory. All masquerades must come out. It is done simultaneously with masquerades that are coming from the Kwifon Palace.
All right.
Yes, and you will realize that when she dies, nearly everybody will go barehead. That is, people will be forbidden the wearing of caps.
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
And now, as we are talking about non-talk, it shows non-talk has a great role to play by advising the fund and doing some other inner issues in the palace. Now, where is the position of a Vintok, the Queen Mother? Is Vintok
No,
the Queen Mother?
Vintok is not the Queen Mother.
Vintok is?
Yeah, Vintok is not. Vintok is the fund's wife.
The fund's wife. I cannot call her the Queen Mother.
No, she is not.
Who then do we call the Queen Mother?
The Queen Mother is non-talk.
Okay.
It's non-talk.
Understand. Thank you.
Vintok is just the fund's wife, and there are many of them.
All right. So where then is the position of a Vintok when it comes to palace issues?
Now, when it comes to palace issues, do they play any role very openly? Just like any housewife, you understand? In that ceremony, the fund comes out with them. Apart from them, is there any other ritual in Uku that is played by Vintok? No. It is that confusion that people have between Vintok and
non-talk.
Yes.
All right. So when it comes to
non-talk
palace,
is an institution.
Okay, non-talk is an institution.
Yes, it's an institution.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, leaving from non-talk, let's switch to ban-talk. We are talking about ban-talk that involve Msus and Be, as we call it from the beginning. Even non-talk too.
Yes.
All right. They involve Msus and Be. For the ban-talk crowned right in the Kufan's palace, what are his duties?
As I said, Bantok actually stands as somebody who may give certain advice to the phone, but not in public. They're equally involved in certain ceremonies, religious rituals and things like that. They are directly involved, especially in the palace.
All right. All right, thank you. We'll not be getting to talk about more of Kwifon's titles because, we don't have to talk much of Kwifon's titles. When you talk of Chindas, talk of Tantos, they all know what they do there, and a common man cannot be describing on air. So let's move to the Downer Palace, the Ngeri society, where you have the Sheis, the Cho Sheis, the Yas, the Choyas. Those are titles, honorary titles, as we term them. And what are their roles when it comes to the traditional institutions in Oku?
First, you realize that the Ngili society is a society of prestige without real political power. Let us be frank. Prestige, when they come out, all the Oku people, we respect them, we honor them. You understand? Because they are from the palace. But they don't have ceremonial powers. They don't have real powers as the other titles. But you will realize that anybody that has been crowned by the phone, that has been enthroned by the phone, a Shea, a Ya, a Bantok, a Ntumfon, is already a messenger of peace.
All right.
I think it is clear.
Yes, it's understood.
Yes, they are considered as peace brokers. When there is trouble, and you see any of them, when they come in, they are coming in to settle, that is to bring peace. Okay. Secondly, when you see them, you know that they are coming to maintain order. There cannot be any disorder where there is a Ya, where there is a She. You understand? Where there is a Ntumfo, where there is a Bantok.
All right.
Wherever they come in, they are there to maintain order. When they come in, disorder goes out through the window. Okay.
All right.
Thirdly, we consider them as the voice of the palace. All these people that have been crowned by the phone, they are the voice of the palace. They can speak and people listen. If they speak and people do not listen, then there is a problem somewhere. It therefore means the person maybe is a person of doubtful character. Maybe it's a person that does not know the type of weight that he or she is carrying. This is what we expect from them.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, Doctor, as you are saying, we are so happy. We have actually had title holders who disgrace the community. We have had title holders who drink and get drunk in bars. We have had title holders who insult people. We have had title holders who fight. We have had title holders who, instead of maintaining order, as you rightly put it, bring disorder. What do you think can be done with such title holders who just take it as prestige, and instead of maintaining peace, maintaining order in occasions, they bring disorder? How can a title holder drink beer and sleep in a bar? How can a title holder be fighting? How can a title holder be misbehaving? Because I believe that before these titles are given to you, we know it is out of respect, and you need to actually give respect to the titles and respect the person who gives to you. Because we believe that when you are going against your title roles, it means you are disrespecting the person who gave you the title and who should be the phone. Now, before we continue, somebody is asking me here. We grew up having some friends called Shea. Is it a taboo to give a name to a child that looks like a title, or it's just normal? Well, to expand what you have said, in a society we have some people just call them non-talk. You just call them Shea. You just call them Phi, and nobody ever gave them that title. And maybe the community already knows and they even call them as such. Is it advisable?
No, it is very easy. Let me just give the history of my name. I'm called Timer. And Timer is one of the first Phis in Bangkok's family. Some people call me Phi, Are you understanding?
Yes.
There are other timers that they are known as files, some are known as bangkong. You understand? So when the name goes like that, you will realize that somebody, instead of giving the name timer to the child, will call the child file. Are you understanding?
Yes, yes.
And it goes like that.
All right.
Let's say if your grandfather was Shay, and people used to call him Shay. Now, the Shay, the real name is Kwei, right?
Yes.
If you give Kwei to any child as a name, people will be calling the child Shay.
All right, it's understood. Now, talking about titles, let's go to dressing code at this time around. What differentiates these people when it comes to dressing? Because we have had people who dress exactly like the phone, and we don't know. Is there any dressing that is distinguished only to the phone? Are there some particular clothing that only the phone is supposed to put on, or some particular bangles, or some particular caps, or walking sticks that only the phone is supposed to have them?
We'll come to that later on.
All right.
I want us to answer that question on somebody behaving, drinking, and causing havoc.
Yes, as a title holder.
Yes, carrying the title. In our closed society, we used to say Kwifon has many eyes. And these eyes are chasing that. Today, the society has evolved to a point where nothing can be hidden under the sun. And I believe that it is our responsibility to call anybody to order who has been given a title and who is not respecting the title, who is misbehaving. We call the person to order. The person will know that if he or she does not repent, if he or she doesn't change, the information will go to the palace. You understand?
Yes.
We are the ones to correct our title holders when they behave. We need to let them know that they are misbehaving. We need to caution them politely. If it is the effect of alcohol, when the alcohol, let's say, passes over, if the person is honest enough, he will come back to apologize. I think this is the way we have to do it.
All right. Yes,
coming back now to dressing code. There is no dress in Uku, particular dress in Uku that is reserved to the phone or to a file. But there are special emblems that an ordinary person cannot carry. Take for instance, this what we call in Uku Ntame. It would be difficult for somebody to wear his Ntame just like that of the palace, or wear rings crossed just like the phone. We know such specific emblems that people cannot wear or incorporate in their bodies. But when it comes to ordinary caps or dressing, there is nothing like that. But there are specific caps per category of titles. There are caps reserved only for Nchizindase. There are caps reserved only for people of the Ngiri society. You understand? There are specific caps reserved only for military men. Abamanjo. Kofolonfu, as an example. You cannot wear it. So when it comes to any other thing, somebody will put on with this.
Yes. All right.
Touch this forbidden element.
Yes.
Can tamase. The kind of regularly wa vi so no vi bingmen. Fun was ndo wa jaimen GD. Woman makendo so len wa tuma buga kalos ten ka ja fa look for di.
All right.
Ben look and share you know way. Shin sama ma no gule am ma kan to fun shin na ma kan to no.
Yes. Really? All right. Bella ka wa swingile you. Esin kelega distributor. All right. Esin kelega kulnage esin yendumi chakte wobjin wa basum gwin. Ye chakte baya chakte ya tum tok asumta. Chakte Lambert Kevin. Chakte webjum. O kinen mensuge en kas wujun chakte Nwan Glory. Mambe o kinsi be USA manon kengong yene na rejim. Suge en wigejung. Suge en wigejung. Di na ka sunan do na bilona season do na. Se bati jangam nando kejung wa ki beef. Awa beef di gale modele. Meme se a programme. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Belen, ele sunan de chai ne tem chak vangam chak lot tem jung na lukam na ndun na belen awjum kan lun ki ka program dun. Maze ligui for beef. Maze, what should someone do to be given an honorary title in Oku today? In other words, who is a potential honorary title beneficiary in Oku? All right, Doctor, over to you.
Okay. When somebody has distinguished himself through achievement, maybe in education, maybe in the health sector, maybe in environmental conservation, etc., etc., the fund has it is at the discretion of the fund of Oku, to decide whether you will be given a title or not. Some people say titles are bought left and right. I don't consider that to be anything, because it is the fund who decides whether you are qualified to have a title or not. And once it is given, you deserve it.
All right.
Yes.
So, titles are given. Maze, doctor says titles are given according to your achievements, and it could be in the various aspects. We have seen Bantok development. In fact, it's just like I can go out, catch an animal, and come back, and your father gives you a special name. So, it could be in the various domains, depending on how you influence your community positively, from what we have been seeing in the past. But there are some other titles that whether you do something great or don't do it, you will have to deserve when the moment comes. It comes from lineage, like we talked of non-talk and bantok, which Kwemse and the rest. Doctor, can somebody be Nkwem who is not a bantok? And before we talk, let me see Bantok Kwa Simon. Thank you so much for watching, right from Compenia Douala Literary Region. Thank you, Bantok, for being there. Apart from the fund or the palace, is there any other person or place where one is forbidden to use a normal walking stick?
You realize that in our big compounds in Oku, for those who actually come from Oku, they understand what I'm talking about. You cannot get in there with your walking stick. You will keep it somewhere. And even there is a specific spots where people come and keep soy sticks before getting into the inner yard of the fire. And most often there is also a place where you come and you keep your bag. You don't just get into a fire like that.
All right. All right, Doctor McCann's be goodness only living. I think well, it's not keep bantek. Lower keep bantek, for example, lower keep bantek a manchok. kasaki fai a manchok loko ki fai na baslu a bantek wala ki bantek na baslu fai ye ki fai na baslu bantek tande ta fai o balo bantek mo ta bantek o balo fai.
No, it depends. We should not mix things here. A fai here actually has authority over his lineage.
Lineage.
Yeah, he is actually honored. He is given due respect. As I earlier said, you cannot greet him with the hand. Okay. These are the type of things that you will give him as a fire right. But there is an ordinary person in the village who is a bantek. You can greet him with the hand. You can share jokes with him. But when it comes to administration, he is the first person of the village.
The bantek.
Yes. He may be a bantek with, maybe when you come to his compound, you cannot count up to 15 people. But he's already a bantek, right? Then you will have a fai who is the head of a lineage with thousands of people. People come and they actually honor him. People come and they give him respect. The whole village gives him respect. The whole Uku community gives him respect. He has respect even out of the village. You understand? Yeah, but he is not a bantek. Bantek is purely an administrative attribute.
All right. Which means you could still be the bantek, not by family lineage. And we also have to understand that bantek equally can control many files.
Yeah, but when it comes to
administration, yes, administration. Yes.
Also,
yes.
For your team, by Bia also now a year. Nay, Jules also. Loja need this and from. Was you know?
All right.
Loja need this one.
All right.
Beggar say, come as you meant title to lose one in for fort. Maybe Luton and Sos Melutin. Loja needs one.
All right.
Because she will do.
All right.
He has been consecrated and set apart.
All right.
By our local administration.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of this program, I told that this is a show Oko in Focus, and I think it's not cause any trouble. We are simply just trying to crack jokes. This is a show Oko in Focus, and you know, so nobody should be telling us that report us and that. No, it's a joke, and who knows? We can still be given a title. Okay, thank you so much, Tata Comfort. She's asking, if you are given the title of a Shea by the phone, is there anything you have to do about the title, like doing a kind of traditional ritual? Yes, I think you have to just answer this question. What should a person do when he or she is given a title? An honorary title, like the Shea, like the like the Chio Shea, like the Chio. Is there something you have to do after receiving the title?
No, understand this. That title is not picked from the gutter. It is given by the phone, and that is why most of the people go back home to celebrate. Some of the people sit with their peers, they sit with people in their quarters, and they actually throw a kind of party because they have a title that has been given by the phone.
All right.
By the highest authority in Uku.
Exactly.
And that is why people do. But there is no ritual per se when somebody is given such a title.
All right, they don't.
You can feast.
You can feast.
Yes.
But there's no ritual.
No, there's
where you think that maybe you can have a bay or msus. No. It is impossible. Now, please, what type of shoes can one wear to the Uku Palace? No. Also, is one obliged to put on a cap before seeing the phone, or should you wear a cap before seeing the phone? Yes. And apart from functioning in the Uku, with these titles, do they work well out of Uku?
No, wearing the cap is obligatory.
Before entering the palace.
Yeah, as we know, bedding slippers are avoided.
Okay, you don't enter the palace with bedding slippers. You don't as you are entering there, you need to have a cap.
Yes.
Those are very clear issues. Now, there's another technical point here about titles that somebody is trying to raise. Emmanuel Kengong. If a title is given out of Uku, will it be recognized in Uku? We have had cases where maybe you are given a tanto in a Din palace.
Yes.
Now, as an Uku man who stays in Uku and is being recognized in Din as a tanto, can you now start playing the role of a tanto in the Uku palace because you were crowned a tanto in the Din palace? That's just an example.
No, I'm coming. We should not be evasive about these things. We should treat them carefully. Most of the titles that come from outside, they are tabled back at home. Our traditional authority will see whether it actually ties with our traditional administration. If it does not tie, they may modify it. If it ties, you are actually aligned along the rounds, and you become one as such. So if you are tanto from somewhere else, from Din, from Kambe, from So, from Makar, or from where, the first thing is you have to present it to our administration to see whether your title ties with our norms. If it ties with our norms, there is nothing bad about it.
All right. Ik ga voor tijd zo. We zoeken lansen.
Loma kleina voor so no men disishi kunkuma o ne ga men me fensa ba le men do fitento le kono le ga mo fenso o kono me loji be man fa fa gwi ne kono lo ne ga ka fon san be ne nyam ko ma jel gwi fitento ko ma dingale ka fa le ga mo fenso ma ju ma ki yes no la me la ga le lo kan kono le lu optionda ye ne lo ja lu ama ko ma si se mo fo pasan ka ko la lo ja ma su fenge me feeling kan ka no di e ke lo di ka society se pela kon wi alo ma si di me ke ko ka lo to fele yes na running.
All right. Aka se feel gui before no lefa na tage. We know that there are some two traditional groups that are very important in Uku. We are talking of the Manjong and the Fembien. In the recent France tour in Cameroon, I noticed so many things from the background. You see, when the phone is there, it is the Manjong and the Fembien that is going ahead. Between Manjong and Fembien, under normal circumstances, which one comes first? Is it Fembien or is it the Manjong?
No, Fembien.
Fembien, eh?
We are Uku people now. Fembien look so quick from Vienna.
Wow.
No quick from Lord Jack and Techale and Lean in Fembien we may feel it. Jabondo. No quick from Lord Jan do ni medium Joe, no Manjong wing.
Good.
Must farmers only look for you. No Kalundi, no Fembien can kind and never lodi. Fembien a tar. Tanas now. Or you also will choke for Vienna?
Yes.
The second to can let we can to the marble Elizabeth in Dali. A law league, the Fambiano. I think a bit. Cat is you on the Fambians and bring the Fambian Papa Fees and a marble. No Bowers in Kablundi. No law and now is a book now, your friend. Come up, Jabby. No lawyer, chugler, is a chugler. And to move and be and come a yaluntia.
All right.
Aye, on my laws is you.
All right.
No law lodi. Cavan bien a lundi and bongan cowan a man. I also jabbing. Ben a bowers and laws is yours on my law labbing. But for law lodi cavan bien lodi. Binacan a bowers and cheese and dancing.
Tantos.
Masu Mangan cheese and dancing.
Okay.
Oh,
It's not a balance. A calcium, yes.
Ye carloon from bien and sell all going to from bien cucumber. Na kan baten no gwie na fuat na from bien ko ka fa ko di wa wambunga wa lukanantia kong na ni job wa na wa lukantia na chi sinda sa bi ne
Okay.
ani lo lu ani lo ke yan na ba sa na lo sa ju o ma lo la ka fa bi ne ke
Okay.
e ka lo ndi
Ik Fembien, in een Manjong Fembien, we
from bien no gwi bla mo ku in terms of status no in terms of hierarchy no I live in bien
All right. Okay, lo bien bi.
Yes.
Dina manjong na bien lu na group star antiepku. Ne sa chilo so.
Tu sais, l'on a dit ça.
Alors ce que nous comme manjong na bien le. Yel na yele ba ke manjong se lundun. Nan fu lundun mo se lujika na lu bois. Manjong nan fu. Lundun den le.
Que le gamba.
Alors si vous na manjong. Aka si vous na fu.
Non, je te. La confusion ten là option da ha lo ya su na bleji le. Wa sa yo no tong to ko manjong. Wa yo no. That military wing, no government everything. No government le ko jip. No yo lo diga na yen kan gam fu ba lo je ko man fo me fu no ya sen. Fu ya yan to ko. No lo wi di. No ma tong ta manjo. No lo di nan da su jim na la su jim ga sai yong na su shite. Ne shoro se lo ten. Ne samba se lo ne kom se ne jong se ne chinti men kala se me lo kan sa fa mo me nyin kan sa fa mo ama tong ta manjo e ka lo ndi.
All right. Now bero na jong doctor kando nambi eso lo su na kum apcho ya na shi ne pcho shi na ke sel no shan to ke ale lo wala na ba so ngeri e kita de kaina ka shia o ka ya live bas lu wele ek van ngeri
akano la makenga so kele luge wablun ko to ambele ko londe lo fonu ko okay da lo di ne shi ka fa antong dinga klandi a fonu ko design kana walu wala mbulum ke wala wala abzo a sugi lu yefumwa ne lo to a fam la gaten woni ka ya chokte go chokte jike wala ka lo fon ko design kan line le lo kan bus line ma suga go ka lo wala abzo ji go si wala bela a fon ko su de no su men flu dia men wa so se ko fodi
yes
e wa fon ko lo design na le ne bus a yen wa no wa ti lo wala mbulu no lo wala abzo a for share so way no form ndi from the foreman ne de fond de ya men wa shi wala a family no wona ji na for ji ani ka to no de ban ma kan go wa kege situation santo no conditions sit in kondo look for ka sin kren chuo le mbele no because chuo ona jam to mbele no
yeah
ne ke ka lo ndi di boye ke din chimen ko su re ka lo ma jungo se din ke as ne ke title sin no origin tin no logi santo na ba lo fon ko bu ya we fen ge she ne lo wo lo ju fen wo tin shi wo le ge ka ba su ji
yes
kan lo ba ma lo su ge lu tu mo le ran so ne she se ku fon lo ne she se ge le lo ba lo as no pu na sin chi kan she se ge le len ma bi ya yan sa ku fon e ka ma kan ne as na ke di bu di na ga wo fen ge she am ne ma pu
ya berojim o kim program lenivin sugar as ndumbi chondo mese no kin lenivin o beef as in kile kayando ambi bel wasingang na jondo de kawl den liglo we sumun se o kim focus liglo lamin kan le sinagi no we akum kana galun ka taitese na dong ten tif se li ngena tat lamin so lo lo e bes no sonete uneten lo ge bi gasen kwat na alo lo go fo taitese we yero ki lo isin tuma lo we nei wina kuye silak a chintenge sekana mok seguina nyang seguina kuye wa kawle ngani fo taitese we e linda metin ka jom jom ge tale go listen ne ba lo sugi yala chu ne seguina no chu yelo lo on tele sugi yalachu o lindam duk anam duk amko o feja jeleji jiven amno gavina luna lawa te fa gelku e kin ta de sege nan ton yidi e fin tadesen ji be e bas chin tipu
Kalong na su kenge ala agui da chen se yele ye kok se yele ye to wala sa chin den tum chin den lo ja gu chen se yele ye kok se yele ye wo de shi wula ta le wo ngam no wo je ja bon wo jo wo no han wo yu ko wo jo wo no han ndu ko ya ja wo jo wo lun kan go fa su wu wo jo wo lun kan go fa su lu mu tana wa choksin lo anto gani yanin go lo we o promo bo ya fo fa so anto o pi ga fatin ya lu go ma ji ga fatin da ji ya je fi sa chale tana wa kan sa choksin wan na fon ka fatin sa wa yo lo ma jin kenge ka tum ma ju ga ko le ani bi su go shikin na freshman wa gele wake wa wulu chinta wake wa wulu mnya wake wa wulu banglan wa ba sa sakta wa ba sa gyapsin wa chintin wa shi wulu ndu wa shi na fomu nge wa yeso so yesin ne wa lo wulu jimja lo shi lo wulu jimja lo banto lo wulu jimja lo tumpo yo no lo wulu jimja lo ya o tum tin sa lo jike
okay
wa lu ya wanda kan so lu se so lo na lo tang ta tu
o tangte
o tang te ya so la tu lo kui la ju ya wanda le o fo no ko gui chok den gi la tang o gen tu fe fe na lu yen ge no ya lo yes na gele ko tu ma ju no lu mun ju le ya lu fo no ko ni bi so ye ge bu mo o ge san ba ya no xie xie分数也是那个tu mu yes a ja bo lu ge na lo ngam ba ya je ja so na ge so ja so ye li se le te taxage ye li se le ndas taxage ne na ba sa fele fe ya na fo no to ge na fe
Bell na Dr. Babendi Top Sugar and following up right at home in Ilak Uku. I always believe that titles given to an Ukuman from So Umbiama are automatically being recognized by the authorities of Uku. Doctor, is that right?
So lu be ga sin na jale jimo na abla saudi ala ga she people and so abla pu so pu li so ga abla ndu bia me ndu ga wo so she no lu she people no ko ke procedure wo se na so se lu she people abla bu so pu li so ga ka ja lo automatic G40 be ga bu so se mo so ka ga yen ga ka bu ni she le no lu people so lo e su yo pu go lo ya ba su lu na tnu ji lo lo ya wa lo bu so pu lo ya lo banto wa lo so bu so pu lo banto ya lo tum to wa lo bu so pu lo tum to ya lo kan title le ga ja ma ka nji bo bu so mo so ka ga yen ji ya lo fi sin tene a chunda
All right. Nagana jim shi kegel se loji raya. Okay, Belle. No, boki beef. As we are getting close to the end of this program, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any worry, you can send the comment section, or you can join us live and tell us how you feel about this program. Emmanuel Kengong, I'm trying to add you so that I can give your own contribution. You can tell us how the program has been, and he's saying that he's pleading on Doctor to come on this platform on topics as such, maybe a full day on various roles of title holders. In fact, this is a very big topic that we cannot handle today, but as time goes on, we are going to keep educating you because Doctor is available at all moments for Oku in Focus. And I don't know if there is any other question again. John Messi said, I'm so happy for the program. And we have Elijah Tarsen, Lambert Kevin, other person watching us from Yaoundé. Ra Levi, thank you so much. Bachim Chita, she says she Queen Nathaniel. Hey, Mami Bachim. Where for she on the okay, she was American, no, she was better greens. Many girls all them so. Bel na jung. So much now jung kim program lig wala min sugar. As soon sunin kumbutu magasin no za yeka. No wakika no beef. Or beef le nevin. A fiso we. A kwat kani bam. A jume kwa ka lugar se luge. Ta kanam chuo. Doctor sun never no yeka man tam na kuiten. A yeka za tam. Kile ka sa nei. Lo suile wono yes lo yeka. No li bechulo jomo lik. Nelo non tok. Kwa kebe na lo jom. Nelo ya. O kebe na lo se jom. Yana ban tok. O kebe na lo se jom. Na title. Lo wan diana title ye. Ben barsin dia se ki lo. Barsin ki yetu zengzen. Because title when you have been distinguished and you are a special person to handle things in a special way. Walole in Kalawe je gypsy Egyptian. Ka kwango ki title na negna so. Wa kebe mbi mbasu lo ejine fodi. Na for title so. Wa respect to kie. Il respect we. Economy. Na wa di so respect ni ye. O como yogo lo leo yogo te title hoda. O to yogo te title hoda. Na be long from na kana kin lo ko yel na ko na amna ko ba jono jenali as in respect the title hoda as in ka amnendo ambi doctor magwaga wala bokin le sing na suya e bo be fief kina sig joge yolo ken was a gel sui kum title hoda sa
mo pa as no na a fiala chuo ndula afian avec dit à tête sur l'hôtel non que ablu lo ja lo no como tama atenyo chini lo ja ni lo ni no kele khaba me tie no ba ben ba ni lo le elie o kele di woni lo na sang xie kote me sunu la mu ku and lo ye o kele khaba mu ke ben ba ni lo le lo elie khaba me sen se di ja fa ga so
all right
wani ndu kele khaba me kia u chi pa ban was a melon was a so to we ka sin jele ne ya wona fende pati mo gwi ga ma se lo ma ja na li ndu ya se ran sa na na drum ko ti mo
lovely
a pen de lo mo le di ga ba mo ko mo se ka ra ba na ja ba chai ko lo
all right bele na kana gele ko kai ku yon kum e janga bla na na ngwa fo dzin e ta tele lo e lo ne ya janga bla
na ko lo la mo ko na bu ko ne wa chi mi gwi bom jo se ko li le ga ile ka bla sa ka ta ga yin
le zinga
ya se lu la mo ko na vi ko gwi na lu mo gwi lo ko bla atente o lu mo te lo ko yan vi ko mo ne ko to ni dang vi jan ba ka ba jo ko ne ya jam sa no ba ko fa angel so na ba mo ndu wa lo vi ya lo jo so wo ne vi o so nde shie ablu mo ngui lo ko abla wa fe se jo fo bo do ani dia lan so wa wo no wo lo ka me wa mo jo ko na lo to ki wo bo mo be wa mo die ani ndu ko ya chai ka le ga me diang ko na ye lo fo na die shin se ya se na ja ko
all right
mo gu to no ba mo ye no ko lu chi ne as na jo wa sin ji
yes biga ene ku kana na lo e lo kana jo le fe check to me le ko kana tu la su gen fai e jang
na to ne mo ga ne ga ka su kana ki ne as na ke die ka obwa ma tin ji ko yi no lo gwi no tin gwi ge wa bas won ji be fo
yes
wa bas won be ya to men ba
aten
lo we no we tin ko ngoso we ko we ma so ko lo na ba we nge
ji be je chatten
bo wa ja ti abin ba atun golo so we no na ko we na lo shi ka ni gele wona go lute
All right, Teban team, thank you so much for appreciating. Thank you so much, Iya Ndi from Delphine. Thank you. Thank you, Njakoi Raymond. Njakoi Raymond is asking us, are tiger teeth worn only by specific title holders?
We may say yes, because if the head of my lineage today is wearing tiger teeth, if I wear them, I'm directly challenging him. We avoid such things. Simply, we don't want to get into conflict with some authority. And today, you realize that the tiger teeth are something fabricated now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not real tiger teeth, per se.
Mm-hmm.
Fabricated maybe using wood. Some of them might be ivory products. Some may even just be horns of cows and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they are already tiger teeth. If you know that if you wear them, you are trying to create a kind of conflict with somebody, you better avoid it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, somebody is trying to ask me something here, doctor, that in some tribes, they actually have, it's coming from, let me try to see, it's coming from Yungse Ngum.
From tree.
Yes, he's trying to tell us that in some tribes, they have some statuses that represent the people. He's saying that in So, we have Gonso, in Kom, we have Afua Kom, that's what the person is telling us here. Now, what represents Uku?
Societies are not what people think. In Uku, you realize that statue that actually represents somebody in Uku is only the font.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where we have Kabambo, an image of the font. And that Kabambo must be allowed to decay as the font is sojourning to the land of the no return.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, our societies are not organized the way people think.
Mm-hmm.
That as we have gone so and so, and we have Fuakom and come, we must have something in Uku like that. No.
We can have other things.
Yeah, Uku is a society with a different world view. I have said that anybody who has a statue to Uku or something carved to represent him in Uku is only the fun. And it happens only to a fun who is already going to the land of no return. A fun cannot be reigning with a Kabambo. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, one cannot reign with the Bama at the same time.
At the same time.
All right, it is understood. And maybe let me shift a little bit from title holders, and we still end around our palace. There is something that I was talking with somebody last time about Goba that is always kept in the palace. What does it signify? Because when we grow up, we know that it is placed somewhere during the Kraidai, and nobody crosses there. And at times they say if you cross as a man, you automatically become a Chinda. And you cross as a woman, I don't know if you become a Tontok or whatever. What does that Google bar actually signify?
Do you know the various names of the fun in Uku?
Well, we can know few. We know few.
Yes.
Let me just go
So
with.
to cut a long story short,
Yes.
we know of Ngenyam, right?
Yes.
Okay. Symbolically, the phone is a leopard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Somebody says, some other people claim that the leopard is the totemic animal of the grass field. And that is why, even at the palace, we refer to the bed where the phone sleeps as a kunuba.
Mm-hmm.
Leopard bed.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now, thank you so much. Now, to end, what differentiates Uku from other tribes in the Northwest region, the grass field, when it comes to culture and tradition? What differentiates Uku?
Yes, as I said, Uku has a unique worldview that is actually different from that of the other tribes around us or communities around us. Just by our geography, you understand? Yeah, we have grassland, we have the forest, and we produce elements that come from the forest. We have deities in the forest. We have waterfalls, and we have deities that live along the waterfalls. We have our curative practices, our therapeutic resort that is second to none around us. You understand? And there is this principle of Njuo in Uku that actually differentiates Uku man from another person out of Uku. And Uku man will always ask you that what is the wrong if you want to fight with somebody. This principle has actually shaped our state art, the way we govern our society, the way we look at the other. You cannot just get up one day and you begin to fight your neighbor because you want to expand. And that is why Uku did not have colonies. When you go down to Kom has colonies. The Saw, they have their colonies. The Wimbum, they have their colonies. But Uku did not have one colony because of Njuo. You go and attack somebody for what reason? Njuo Luge. You understand? And by so doing, we actually led the kind of life that wasn't aggressive. That is our worldview. That is actually what actually differentiated us from the other people. Yes.
So, ose suling yo 200 na gojele. Defasing wo 200 no ka gan le ne da sugo 200 no sai 200 jiga.
Sugo 200 from one ne kan kebe. Understand? Kase sugo the go repent no.
Yes.
I will repent. Or 200. A kind of reconciliation between you and the party you offended. You always is a sacrifice.
All right.
It is not verbal.
All right.
You give something. It's a kind of restitution.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have some special people to greet as we are coming to the end of this program. We know so many persons are asking you to come back next time to keep on with this topic. And Doctor, what do you have to tell the people watching you?
No, first of all, I want to greet Bachin.
Yes, he's there.
Yeah, in the United States.
Yes.
Yeah. She's my niece.
All right.
Yes. I want to greet Njakoi, Raymond.
Yes.
Yeah. And many other people back at home.
All right.
That are watching us right now. I would like to greet our friends here in Yaoundé. There are many of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are many watching. There are many people watching. All right. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We want to appreciate our father, Doctor, so much for always being there. And Doctor, before we go, what about the Uku Trail?
The trail is there, and people are telephoning and buying, mostly from Baminda, from Bafusam, Buya, from Douala, and even back in the United States, people buy here and I ship them back to them.
Wow.
So the whole thing is, I have a few copies left. What I'm planning to do is that if I have the resources, I'll try to do a kind of local production so that we may be able to sell at a giveaway price for people to have the copies of the book.
Exactly.
Because as it was printed over there in the United States, it's a little expensive and people are not able to afford.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being so attentive. Thank you for sacrificing to watch this program. We greet you in a very special way. Emmanuel Kengbong will greet you in a special way. Princess Bacham Tita Thank you for always showing interest to OIF. We greet the editorial board of this media. We are thinking of Monte Victorine. We are thinking of Wilfred Kwambi. We are thinking of Tata Confidence. We are thinking of Tata Comfort. And everyone who is involved here. We think in a special way of Gangwa Gabriel watching the program on Dollar, and the cover resource, our home correspondents who have actually done their best to see that this program goes viral by sharing. And yes, let me hear something from the doctor. Is like one person to greet.
Yes, I'm extending my regards to Program John Yosumbom, my cousin in Europe.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is our Oku, it is my Oku, it is your Oku, it is our Oku, and we have to learn. Our culture does not need to die, and that is one of the reasons why we created OIF. We are to promote the culture and bring back those aspects. Let us go back to our local life. Let us go back to how our parents do things. Let us not embrace the Western culture and forget about us. And that is exactly what we are trying to tell you. Know your roots, know where you're coming from, and of course, you are going to know where you are going to. Thank you so much for being there. OIF will always be there to bring to you such programs. It has been a pleasure. And we're bringing to you the program live from Kolfolo here. Is it Kolfolo, Doctor? Kolfolo here in Yaoundé. It wasn't easy as we're held by traffic and we had some technical issues, but thank God this program has come. Now, subsequently, we are going to be getting into things like you have heard some stories about Lake Uku. It is a crater lake. We have had some stories. We shall be getting to the doctor subsequently to hear how that lake was created. We shall be getting to know how marriages are done in Uku. We shall get to know many things about the Uku community. And so all we need is that you should always be there. Support us by liking the page, inviting your friends to like the page, sharing our post, commenting, and of course, together we are going to grow. Yesterday, we were with the older president and the fun of Uku. Today, we were with Dr. Taima. We are talking about titles in Uku. And tomorrow, we are going to be meeting Uku Women in Development to hear the role of women in development and peace building. Thank you so much. Take home message. As a title holder, please respect the title. And respecting the title means you are respecting the person who gave you the title and respecting your community. Remember, respect is given to those who deserve. And however, we are saying that so long as somebody already has a title, the person automatically deserves respect. And so let us respect each other and build our community. We have the duty of building our community. Let us keep away jealousy. Let us keep away hatred. Let us think positive. Let us love one another and know that together we can do many things, but as individuals, we might fail. As the saying goes, one hand cannot tie a bundle, and therefore, dear Ugu people, dear sons and daughters of Ugu, wherever you are, it is time for us to think positively. Love each other. If you are a title holder, you have to be responsible. And of course, life is going to be fine. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you all. I'm going to end the program here. I'm going to say bye-bye to you all. I'm hoping to see you next time. Bye-bye from Flo. See you tomorrow for the Uku Women in Development program here in Yaoundé. It will be taking place tomorrow at exactly 3 o'clock p.m. Cameroon time. Have a nice night wherever you find yourself and stay blessed.